Sam Darley here, and now we're moving on from the NFC to the AFC side in my preview predictions. I will start with the weakest division, or one of the weakest divisions in all of football, the AFC East, with the defending champion Patriots, the New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills, and the Miami Dolphins. Miami and New England both made the playoffs last year out of this division, and I think that's going to change dramatically. I think New England once again is going to win 13 plus games. There's been talks about them potentially winning 16 games, going undefeated. Excuse me. That's very possible. They added Brandon Cooks. It'll stretch the defense. The opposing defense is out. It'll give Brady another weapon to go along with the returning Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, and Danny Amendola. They did lose LeGarrette Blount to the Philadelphia Eagles. But they still got Bill Belichick. They still got Tom Brady. I think the question for them is, what Tom Brady will we see in 2017? He looked ridiculously like a 39-year-old quarterback. He looked old. He looked done in the first half. In fact, the first three quarters of that Super Bowl, I honestly thought I thought they were done. I thought he was done. I thought that was the last we were going to see of Brady. But he's come back. He wants to play until he's 50. The question is, how much longer does Tom Brady have? He's going to be 40 in August. This is going to be, yet again, another easy run to the playoffs because he's got Buffalo to be. He's got probably the softest, or one of the softest divisions in all of football. Two of the teams in this division are two of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion. So, it's easy money for him to be at least in the playoffs. The question is, can Brady perform at the kind of level he's played at his entire career, or will we start to see a dip? That's my only really concern for the Patriots. But I mean, they held on to Jimmy Garoppolo this offseason when there was ample number of rumors that they were going to trade him to either Cleveland, Houston, or the Jets, or heck, even maybe possibly, I don't know, maybe Dallas. There was possibility of trades involving Jimmy Garoppolo, and they didn't move him. So obviously, Bill Belichick is banking on him as the future of the New England Patriots, and so obviously Bill Belichick sees him as a successor to Tom Brady. But that brings up the question mark of what did they do with Jacoby Brissett? Okay, remember they beat the Texans, got drubbed by the Patriots. That was his only start, and Brissett absolutely ran all over them. Jacoby's a kind of a running quarterback, a bit of a Deshaun Watson type player, but a little bit less skills, So obviously, I don't know what they do with Brissett, but if they really feel like Garoppolo's the future, then how long will it be until he gets the reins? Can Tom Brady stay on the same level? Miami made the playoffs last year. They lost Ryan Tannehill down the stretch, and they got drubbed by Pittsburgh. To me, they could be a team. They could be a team that's in at least the hunt for the wild card. But this is the problem, okay? Much like for years in the AFC South, if you're hunting for the wild card, and here's the thing about the wild card, you're talking about at least 3 or 4 teams battling for 2 playoff spots. That means you have to win tiebreakers. There's a lot of things you have to go right for you to be at least a wild card team. Not just your record, you have to have a good conference record, you have to have a good division record, and if you play the team that's in the hunt for one of the wild card spots, you gotta have a good head-to-head record. And that's the problem Miami's facing. Yeah, they're probably a playoff team. They might be a playoff team in any other division. Heck, they might be a potential division winner in I would say at least 2 of the two of the other NFL divisions. One of them being the AFC South, and the other being probably the NFC West. I don't think the West is that strong. But I definitely think Miami would be a potential division title threat in any other division of the league. But the problem is, New England forces them to be in the hunt with 3 other teams, or at least 3 other teams every year for 2 playoff spots. So it's just a rock and a hard place. Ryan Tannehill coming off an injury. Adam Gase had a great year in his first year as a head coach. Now he's got to try and build off of it. He's got to continue to build that defense because it was just absolutely awful and got railroaded by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the divisional round of the playoffs. And now they got to try to take that next step, which is hard to do with a second-year coach. The system is the same. It's the same methods. It's the same schemes. It's really now about can Adam Gase lead the team. The honeymoon phase is over. I always say the first year is great with the new head coaches, but it's really about the second and third year that you really know you've got that guy. So, for Adam Gase, it's about being that guy, being that second or third year, being that guy that can consistently make the Dolphins a playoff team, and who knows, maybe take the next step, be the team that dethrones the Patriots in the AFC East. It will not happen right now. But I have 2 guarantees in this division. The New York Jets with their $10 billion quarterbacks, and they wouldn't even entertain the thought of picking up Colin Kaepernick. I'm not endorsing it, but I mean he's better than what they've got in the roster, and their team is terrible. And like I said, it's the Jets. Todd Bowles has been giving a really bad hand in this. He's really had a bad hand in his 2 years of being the Jets head coach. He had a good first year. They were a game away from the playoffs, except for, of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick reminded us why. He is a backup quarterback in the final game against Buffalo a couple of years ago with 3 picks in the fourth quarter. So, where does that leave the Jets? Well, the Jets were a disaster at the quarterback position. Their defense is in shambles, I think, and they don't really have a lot of talent at the skill positions. And their offensive line is pretty iffy, in my opinion. But biggest thing of all is they don't have a quarterback. I think they got 6 quarterbacks. Last time I checked, they had 6 on their roster. And they always say if you got more than one quarterback on your roster, you don't have a quarterback. So they don't really have a long-term answer. I think Christian Hackenberg could be that guy. But then again, so got Bryce Petty. But maybe they look back into the draft. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, they need to give one of these young kids the reign for the entire season and see if one of these young guys like either Petty or Hackenberg could cut it and be their franchise guy. Otherwise, it's going to have to be back to the drawing board. I don't think Todd Bowles is on the hot seat. The Jets are awful, okay? And it's not entirely his fault. Let's not forget they got Mike McCagnon, an assistant GM who used to be with the Houston Texans. And we all know how awful the Texans have been at picking quarterbacks in recent memory. So, of course, this guy does really nothing but building a team, and he's not really good at finding a good quarterback either. So there's a lot of problems with the Jets. Not as much as the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's got one of the longest playoff droughts in professional sports. On top of that, they don't have a quarterback. They have a new head coach again, and John McDermott. After Cannon Rex Ryan, Sammy Watkins looks injury prone and unreliable, and they've got a good defense, but that's really it. They've got a solid defense. They've got a very passionate fan base. Like I said, the longest playoff drought in the NFL, and quite frankly, all the sports, is not ending anytime soon. They haven't had a quarterback since Jim Kelly, and they're 0 for 4s in the Super Bowl. So, where does that leave Buffalo? Well, I think Buffalo and the Jets are going to be battling out for trying to not be in last place of the division. So, I think Buffalo and New York are probably looking at 2 or 3 wins. Buffalo's probably looking, it's going to come down to the matchups between the two teams. If New York wins the season series, New York will win 3, Buffalo will win 2. Neither of these teams are going to be anything this year. They're not. And, obviously the biggest loss for the Jets is losing Brandon Marshall, a big veteran receiver, a big presence in the locker room. So there's a lot of problems going on for both of these teams. Buffalo, the question now for Buffalo is, do they want to hang on to Sammy Watkins, or do they want to let him walk? Well, the thing is, if they let him walk, he might end up going to the division rival Patriots. Remember that Stephon Gilmore went from Buffalo to New England. Of course, Chris Hogan was once a Buffalo Bill, and he's turned out to be a nice playmaker with the New England Patriots. So really, Buffalo's trash is New England's treasure. They didn't sign Mario Williams, thank goodness, otherwise the league would really be in trouble with the Patriots having a guy like that on their team. But New England is the favorite again to win not only the division but the AFC. There's yet to be, to me, a team. The biggest threats to New England are Pittsburgh, New England themselves. I would say the Kansas City Chiefs if they ever get the quarterback situation sorted out. Oakland, with their high-powered offense, and I would say the Houston Texans with their defense. Of course, Houston and Kansas City need their quarterback situation sorted out before we could talk about them being a legitimate threat to New England. But for now, New England's going to win this division with probably 14 wins. Their 2 losses are going to be outside of the division. They're going to sweep the AFC East. Of course, a lot of it depends on whether Brady is, 1, healthy. 2, it's hard to beat Father Time. And it looked like Father Time was going to beat him in the Super Bowl. Never mind the Atlanta Falcons. He looked old in that Super Bowl. And that would be my biggest concern for the Patriots. But then again, they've got a kid behind him, and Garoppolo's very capable of running the show without Brady. Of course, you still got Belichick, who's one of the smartest head coaches in all of sports, one of the best head coaches in pro football history. So you got that going for you. Miami could be a playoff threat. Is it just one of those seasons where it's a honeymoon phase with a new head coach and they just all were excited and they all got to the playoffs? It's all yay, yay, yay. Or is this something consistent? Is this a chance for Miami to be a consistent winner? Buffalo and New York are going to be terrible. They're terrible. They've got no quarterbacks. So they're doomed. This has been Sam Darley. Thank you for watching.